Hello. Hi there. Welcome to Verbling, www.verbling.com. I'm Teacher Oakley, and today we're going to continue our insane program in grammar, looking at future perfect tense today. We've been looking at perfect tenses for the last few days. Today we're going to tackle future perfect tense. We're going to look at the forms. Future tenses have two forms, two different ways to construct them. And we're going to look at the uses and practice them. You, the students, will practice making sentences using future perfect tense in the correct way. Okie dokie. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever it is where you are. Hello, Heidi.
Hello, good morning.
Morning. Good morning, Heidi. Nice to see you. Good morning, David. Hi, David.
Yeah, evening for me, I think. Hello.
David, if there's anything you can do about your volume, I can barely hear you. It's a struggle.
Yeah, it's the same in every classes. I don't know what happened.
Dude, today is even worse than normal. I can't even understand you.
Okay, I'm going to try to fix that.
Yeah, thanks, Neon. I didn't want to say it, but buy yourself a new microphone. I'll send you a coupon, David.
This is actually my second.
Yeah. Hi, Neon.
Hi, Oakley.
Hey.
And try the third one.
This is your third? Okay, this is my fourth since I've been working at, this is my fourth set of headphones.
Yeah, I know it.
It's no joke.
Yes, I know it because I have attended your classes a lot,
Yeah.
since a year, and I saw it's the third one, but I don't know the fourth one.
Well, you've been attending my classes for a year. I've been working at Verbling for about a year and a half, so 6 months before you arrived.
Yeah, I missed it.
You know, it's true. Technology sucks. Well, here's a co-location for you. It does, because it just means we have to buy more and more and more things and spend our money.
But I have found the nicest one, at least, because I don't like cables or something. I bought a wireless one, and it's really handy because you can go to kitchen, or you don't have to sit down and just look at the screen. It would be sometimes really stressful,
Yeah, I like that idea, Neon. I can teach my Verbling class and go cook my lunch. All the time
I cannot. We
I
are
get very hungry.
You cannot. Maybe sometimes while you are sharing your screen, you can go and whatever you want. But you're a teacher, you cannot, Oakley.
Come on, Neon. Let me have my fantasies, okay? Come on. Let me dream. Let me dream. Nehan, is that a picture of you?
My niece.
You have a new picture.
Yeah,
your niece.
My niece. Yeah.
She looks a lot like you.
Yes, she is. But nicer than me because she has blue-colored eyes and she's pretty. Yes.
Oh yeah, she does, doesn't she? Wow, nice. Okay. Cool. Very cute. Anyway, welcome to the class. Hello, Cesar. Hey, yo, dude.
Hello, teacher. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay, enough messing about, people. Time to get to work here. All right. Future perfect tense. All right. Let's look at how we make this thing. All right. I'm going to do a screen share here. Okay. future perfect tense has two different forms. Actually, all future tenses have two different forms. With will have done, and with be going to have done. Simple future forms can have different meanings when we use the two different forms. Will do and going to do have slightly different meanings. Sometimes, if you're using them to predict, then they're interchangeable. But sometimes, using simple future forms, going to do means it's a plan, and will do means it's impromptu, sudden idea about the future. So it can have slightly different connotations. It can have slightly different inferences, slightly different meanings in the simple future form. However, in future perfect, future continuous, future perfect continuous, these forms don't really matter. It's only in simple future where you have to concern yourself with a different meaning. So, okay, I just told you what not to worry about. You don't have to worry about that with future perfect. All right, first, will, have, and the past participle is the first form. To look at some simple examples, you, the subject, will have perfected the verb construction. Your English is the object noun here. By the time you come back from the U.S. Question form, we invert, we flip-flop, we switch the first helper verb or auxiliary verb and the subject noun in a question. Will you have perfected your English by the time you come back from the U.S.? And then the negative form, you will not have perfected your English by the time you come back from the U.S. Heidi, really, how would I say this?
Mm-hmm.
How would I say this in spoken English?
What?
What?
Say.
Okay, never mind. This is full form English. You will not have all these words, but in real time, real life speaking
Your
English.
Currently not good, so I think you will not have perfect means. You are going back from US, and that time you might not speak English well.
Okay, well, that's a good point, Heidi. You could use modals to talk about the future. You might not. You probably okay. That's a good point. But my point was simply that in spoken English, you would probably use a contracted form, as in won't. You won't have perfected your English. It is most common to contract will not. Actually, in reduced form, I probably would actually speak it like this. You won't have of, where have is pronounced like of. O-F, of. You won't have.
You will not. We say won't. No.
Yes.
You won't have. Is it okay?
Yes, it is okay, and it's actually preferable and more understandable by native English speakers to contract the form and actually reduce pronunciation of will not, and even reduce the pronunciation of have. You won't of is what it sounds like. You won't have perfected your English. For that very reason, it's It's very common to hear this form of the future perfect with the will form because it's easier to reduce. Frankly, it's just, in speaking, it's just easier to say. Most of the time, but not always. And the second form is perfectly acceptable and also useful. The verb to be, which is dependent on, if you're speaking in first person, second person, third person, you have to conjugate the verb to be. In other words, I am, he, she, or it is, they, or we, or you are. Then the entire construction together, that's right, it's always the same, going to have, and the past participle. To wit, and for example, you are going to have perfected your English by the time you come back from the U.S. All right, this entire crazy 5-word construction is the verb. That you have to think about it as being the verb. This is one thing. This is one unit. All right? Put that in your brain. Make yourself understand that. That is the verb construction. Even though it looks like a giant phrase, it is the verb. Okay, and again, notice in the question form we have inverted or flip-flopped the subject and the first auxiliary or helper verb. Are you going to have perfected your English by the time you come back from the U.S.? And in the negative, you are not going to have perfected your English by the time you come back from the U.S. And again, in spoken English, it would be common to contract this form when you pronounce it. You aren't. Furthermore, it would be very common in spoken English to reduce pronunciation of going to. How would I say that, Nihan? Going to. Here.
Gonna.
Yeah. Gold star for Nihan today. You aren't gonna have perfected your English. You aren't
You're
gonna?
not gonna. You're not gonna.
Actually, this whole construction, you know what? As an American, being all lazy and everything, as Americans are, you aren't gonna have perfected your English.
Oh, it's hard.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
better?
okay.
Is
Yeah,
it
no,
better
I'm
you aren't gonna, or you're not gonna?
It's
one's
totally. You know what? Which one's common?
Up to me.
It's up to you, and it kind of depends on what your content is after, and how you know, how it affects your rhythm, and what you're going to highlight in the sentence, and what you're going to you know, what you're going to do with your intonation, as far as you know, you aren't gonna go to the party. I told you you were not going to do that. Well, you know.
Yes.
So
Oh, yes. I see the difference. Okay.
it kind of depends. Okay. Again, you can use either of these forms, and it really doesn't matter. So whatever feels comfortable for you. Okay, let's look at the first use of future perfect. Let me give a quick shout out to Keiko. Hey, yo, Keiko.
Hey, teacher.
Hey, what's up? Keiko, who's going to win in the match with Brazil and Colombia? When is that?
Colombia wins 3-1.
Has this happened already, Cesar?
I am from Bogota, Colombia. I think that.
That's your prediction?
Yes.
All right, Keiko, did you hear that? Okay, let's say that in a future perfect tense.
We will
by the time
see.
the game's over, Colombia will have won. By
Okay,
this
Colombia
4-3-1.
will have one.
Woo! Ah, very nice.
Brazil will be champion and Colombia vice champion.
Vice champion. That's not possible because they're
We'll
playing.
see.
Yeah, they're playing in the quarterfinals. Okay, all right.
Let's keep it civil here, people. Okay. All right, let's talk grammar. I know it's boring, but okay. Completed action before something in the future. So, the future perfect expresses the idea that something will occur before another action. So, in the little diagram here, the circle, the purple circle, represents the future perfect tense. The reference to another action in the future is represented by this little purple X. This little purple X can be an action, which is expressed by using a verb, or it can be a specific time, which is represented in an actual sentence by some kind of a time clause. All right, let's look at examples to illustrate. By next November, ooh, well, there's a time clause. I will have received my promotion. I certainly hope. Okay. All right, I will have received my promotion is the round circle, and by next November is the purple X, the thing in the future. Okay. By the time he gets home, purple X, she is going to have cleaned the entire house. Oh, let my wife see that phrase. Sorry. Okay. I am not going to finish this test by 3 o'clock. All right, time phrase. Okay. Notice something here. By the time he gets home. David, what tense is the verb?
Simple.
Simple?
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Simple what?
Present.
Simple present. Thank you, David. David is absolutely correct. Notice when the action is the purple X, even though it's further in the future than the purple circle, it is expressed with the simple present tense. He gets home, purple X. Weird, right? Isn't English crazy? That is the present tense. But the blue circle, she's going to have cleaned the entire house, and I do mean the entire house. Excuse me, I get carried away. That's the circle. Crazy, right? All right, in the question form, will she have learned enough Chinese to communicate before she moves to Beijing? She moves to Beijing is the purple X in simple present tense. Okay. Here we go, Heidi. Here's the use of modal language, probability language. Sam is probably going to have completed the proposal by the time he leaves this afternoon. Probably, maybe, might.
In these examples, don't say will move, will leave, or will get.
There's two forms. So some of them use will and some of them use going to have. Does that answer your question? I'm not sure.
The sentence, the first part, and the sum is probably going to have. The first part expresses the perfect future, and the second part, according to the grammar, express the future sentence too. The verb leave don't have will live or don't be will live.
It's present simple. I leave, you leave, he leaves, they leave.
Yes,
That's
I got it.
present simple.
But don't not exactly express something in the future.
Well, that's the weird thing. Um, does it by itself? Well, of course not. He leaves every afternoon at 3 o'clock. Well, obviously, that's a regular action, and that's present simple tense. But when I join it into clauses with the future perfect,
Yes.
obviously, it does express the future. It is represented here by the purple X. So
Okay.
clearly, in fact, it does. Why? Because I've put it in a time in conjunction with a time clause.
Okay.
By the time, before, by 3 o'clock. Well, that doesn't have
Okay.
a verb. No,
Okay.
never mind.
Okay. This is the key word.
Yeah, that's right. You got to have some kind of time clause in the future, but you know what's actually that's a very good point, because I must tell you, you cannot do this. For example, let's look at this next one. By the time I finish this course, I will have taken 10 tests. You
Yes.
can absolutely never, ever, ever do this. By the time I will finish, this is the biggest mistake. By the time I will finish this course, I will have taken 10 tests. And error, error,
No.
error. Dive, dive, dive. Bee boo, bee boo, bee boo. Wrong. You cannot do this. You cannot use a future tense with a time clause. You can never ever do this in English. It's
I got
not
it, teacher.
allowed. Verboten, bawal. Totally wrong. So there you go. That's
I got
another
it, teacher.
reason.
Thank you.
You can't do. Yeah, sure. But thank you, because that is a very important point I need to illustrate. So your question helps me teach the class. So thank you, actually.
Okay.
All right. How many countries? Subject noun. Are you going to have visited by the time you turn 50? Heidi, how many countries are you going to have visited by the time you turn 50? I know that's many, many years from now.
I don't have any confidence about my.
Oh, come on. Heidi, you're going to live to be 100. Okay. The reference points, again, are all simple present rather than simple future. And again, I cannot stress this enough. You cannot use future tenses in time clauses. This is the most common mistake. You can't do it. All right, keeping that in mind, looking at these examples and using them as a guide, let's do it. Let's try forming some sentences. Cesar, I'm going to start with you. You lucky guy.
With one example. One example.
An example of using future perfect in this way to express a completed action before something in the future.
Okay.
Using these examples.
By the finish to these classes, I will have learned my English.
Okay. Wait a minute. Let's look at that. By the finish. Now, what did you say? By the finish?
See, of this class.
Mm-hmm. Ding, comma.
I will have learned.
Oops.
Okay.
Wrong language. I will have learned English. Okay, now, grammatically speaking, this is correct, and this is a very good job, Cesar. Nice.
Okay.
Okay, this expresses the purple X, a time in the future. Okay, and this is your purple circle. Nice job. Okay, but I will tell you, all right,
Yes.
that we would normally just collocation. This is grammatically correct. Your vocabulary is correct. Everything is okay with this. Just in normal English, we would never say that. We would say by the end of this class is the normal way we would express it in English. The normal
I got it.
collocation. All right?
Okay.
Grammatically speaking, in your vocabulary is completely correct. And just this is the more normal way to say this, express this idea.
Okay, I got it.
Yep. Keiko, want to give this a try?
Next week, I will have attended many classes. Attended too many classes. Or until next week may be better.
No, it's actually worse. Until is used as a kind of a negative. I won't have attended too many classes until next week. Until. I won't go to Spain until the fall. You have to use a specific time with until, and it's a thing in the future. Actually, Keiko, you're better off with this. Next week, I will have attended too many classes.
Okay.
Next week, I will have attended too many classes. This is
before next week.
Better. There's something wrong with this. Next week is a
Yeah.
okay. In English, we have specific time clauses by 3 o'clock. You know, that's quite specific. Or by the next century. Well, that's very unspecific. And actually, it can have an effect on what verb tense you use. If you're using a specific time clause or an unspecific time clause. Next week is a little vague. If you add by next week, I will have attended too many classes. Actually, that would work. By next Tuesday. This makes it clear that it is this purple X here.
Yeah. By next week or by the next week, teacher? Or it doesn't matter?
See, okay, if we just have next week, I would use simple future tense. Next week I will attend too many classes. It's a prediction.
No, okay, teacher. My question is by next week or by the next week?
Oh, no, you don't need the article. The.
Okay.
By next week, okay? But, Keiko, if you use the clause, well, okay, that's a good question, actually. In the next week, all right, now I'm including the 7 days. When I say by next week, I'm actually considering the fact of one time. By the time next week starts, I don't know. If I consider the week starts on Sunday, when I use the clause by next week, I mean midnight on Sunday. All right? If I use the clause in next week, I mean from Sunday to Saturday.
Okay.
Two different meanings there.
In the next week, I would use future, simple future.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Very good, Keiko. I love you, brother. Excellent. Because it's not a specific time clause. You're talking about a duration, and that is not specific. So you would have to use simple future tense. Thank you.
Okay.
Bless
Thank you,
Keiko.
teacher.
That is exactly correct. You got it. All right. Great. Great job. Okay, Nihan,
Yes.
you want to try making a future perfect?
Can I ask something? I just wrote to chat box. Is that
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
correct form? You are gonna have finished the session by the time I got or I get a cup of tea?
You are going to have finished this session by the time I got it. By the time I get.
Get.
Got
okay.
is past tense, so it has to be
Okay.
simple present tense. By the
Okay.
time I get a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And by is this the correct form? I don't know, but by the end of the August, by the end
Wait.
of the next
Okay.
August, I'm gonna have
Which way?
started
Wait. Time out. Which way do you want me to say it? By the end of?
by the end of August.
Thank you. Okay, you don't need the article the. Mm-hmm. Okay, continue.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have started my new job.
I'm going to write full form, but I appreciate that you are using the reduced conversational pronunciation and intonation.
Started.
I appreciate it, but I'm going to have started.
My new job.
Okay, my new job. Yes, all right, and okay, there you go. Predicting jobs is a very common, realistic way to use this future perfect.
Oakley, I think I missed that point. One we have to use will have a past participle and gonna have to past participle. What was the difference? Sorry to ask it, but
Nope,
I think
so no problem at all. Unlike simple future forms, future perfect forms are uninterchangeable. Whatever feels good, Nihan. I just want you to do whatever feels good for you, okay?
okay.
It doesn't matter.
If it's a plan, if it's a certainty, if it will happen 100%, we use going to or will.
That is important in simple future forms. Exactly as you say. If it's a plan, you use the going to form. In simple future.
Okay.
In
Not
future perfect, future continuous, future perfect continuous, the other three future forms, it really doesn't matter.
Okay, I got it.
Whatever floats your boat, as we say in ooh, there's an idiom I'd love to share with you all. Hey man, whatever floats your boat. Okay, let me just share that stupid thought I just had. Whatever feels right. Okay.
Okay.
And your construction is perfect, by the way. Nothing to say about that. Excellent job. Kelly, where did you come from? When did you come in the class? Hello, Kelly? Kelly, hello? Okay, Kelly.
Her mic is mute.
Yeah, I see that. Kelly, if you want to unmute yourself, and say hi. You can do that anytime. If you scroll up to the top of the Hangout screen, you can unmute yourself and give us a shout out. Say howdy, so I know I can talk to you. And Keiko, just so you know, in English, Kelly can be a girl's name or a boy's name. So I'm not making any assumptions here.
In Brazil, generally is used as a girl's name.
Yeah, well, it can be either in English. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
Don't make assumptions, Keiko. You can embarrass yourself that way. All right. Yeah. Hey, Jarek. You know what? I don't even know if I said hello to you. Hi, dude. How are you today?
Great, it's sunny outside.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Thank you. All right. Jarek, give me a scientific sentence here using future perfect. Can you do that?
I will try. By the end of this experiment, I will have produced enough K powder.
I love it. By the end of this experiment, I will have produced enough uranium-234 to construct my bomb. Is that what you said, Jarek?
Yes, sort of.
Oh yeah, I have a twisted brain, Jarek. Please, please keep that in mind when you're talking to me. Heidi, Jarek, I'm sorry, that was perfect. Jarek, that was an excellent construction. That was very, very good.
Thanks.
Thank you. Heidi,
Yeah.
it's your turn.
Okay, I will have both new clothes, shoes, and handbag. By the time I go back to my hometown to attend my my parents' memorial ceremony.
Okay. Very good. All right. I will have bought blah, blah, blah. Don't talk to my wife, Heidi, okay? Just don't. I will have bought a lot of expensive things that my husband will have to pay for by the time I go back to my hometown to attend, what was it? My parents'
Ceremony.
okay, memorial. I attend by the time I go back to attend my parents' memorial. All right, there's a couple extra infinitive clauses there, making a nice long sentence, but grammatically correct. Perfect. Heidi always gives me a really long, complicated sentence, compound, complex, with relative clauses and all kinds of crazy fun stuff.
I'm sorry, always wrong.
No, actually, I enjoy it. It's great. It's great. I appreciate it, Heidi, actually. Keep it up. Keep doing what you do. Just don't take my wife shopping. That's all. Okay. David, it's your turn, and please have a louder microphone.
Yes, sir. By the end of the class, I will have practice future perfect tense.
By the end of class, I will have practiced future perfect tense. Well, yes, I certainly hope so. Yeah, okay. Simple, direct, and absolutely correct, David. I hope by the next time David joins me in a Verblin class, he will have purchased a new headset and microphone. I'm kidding. Do what you want to do. Okay. Now, use number 2. Heavy sigh. Here we go. Okay, we've got to talk about non-continuous verbs. Basically, use number 1 is it. All right? This is how you use this tense. However, you need to recognize that sometimes with non-continuous verbs or mixed verbs, which these are verbs that cannot be used with the ing. All right, verbs like hating, loving, liking. Technically speaking, grammatically speaking, you cannot use ing forms. Those are non-continuous verbs. And then mixed verbs are verbs that sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. The verb to be. I am being very good. Makes no sense. Well, no, actually, I am being very good does make sense. I am being happy does not make sense. I would just change it to I am happy. So sometimes I can use ing, sometimes I can't. I am having a new puppy. Makes no sense at all. I cannot use it with the ing form. Having. Are you having a good time? Perfect. No problem whatsoever. So sometimes you can use continuous form, sometimes you can't with what are called mixed verbs. For example, I will have been in London for 6 months. By the time I leave, yeah, I can't use I will be being. I will have been being in London. You can't do that. All right, you can't use a continuous, future perfect continuous, or even a future I will being. You just can't do it, so you're going to fall back or revert back to future perfect. By Monday, Susan is going to have had my book for a week. Even though it is a continuous action, she's having that book, she's continuing to have that book, that verb, the idea is that this action, having the book, is stretched over time, my goodness, for a week. All right? So logically, we should use a continuous tense to express duration of time. However, it's a mixed verb and we just can't do it. It's not possible. Susan is having my book for a week. Susan will be having my book for a week. I cannot do it. I just can't use continuous. So I would, because I have this reference by Monday, my purple X, even though it's a continuous action, even though represented by this green line, Susan's having my book for a long period of time. She's got my book. I wish she'd give it back. Even though this is clearly an action which takes a long period of time, I cannot use continuous tense. Now, here is a real pain in the neck. We have these stupid exceptions. The verbs live, work, teach, study. You can do whatever you want with. You can use perfect or continuous tense. I will be living in Germany for 3 years in July. Or I will have lived in Germany for 3 years in July. I can do it either way. These stupid verbs do not live by any rules. They're rebels. So you can use either one, either tense, a continuous, or a perfect tense, to express the idea of duration of time, a length of time. I will have been teaching, continuous, for 3 years. Next August, I will have taught for 3 years. By next August. Okay, I can say it either way. And either way is grammatically, technically correct because these are exceptions. Nian, I also hate grammar, and what I hate most is that every grammar rule that you learn has an exception, or several. Okay. Again. No future tense in time clauses. Please remember that. Expressly, clauses that begin with when, while, before, after, by the time, as soon as, or conditional clauses that begin with if or unless, you can't use future tense. So think about that when you're forming conditional sentences. You cannot say, if it will rain, I will not go to the beach. You can't say that. If it rains, I will not go to the beach. You cannot say if it will rain. Unless the sun is shining. Okay, you cannot say unless the sun will shine. Nope. Can't do it. All right. I'm going to see a movie when I will have finished my homework. And nope. I am going to see, this is a future tense. This is future simple. When I will have finished my homework. When clause. Starts with when. No. How could, oh well, oh here we go. I was going to ask somebody how do you say it correctly, but it's duh. It's right here. I'm going to see a movie when I have finished. So the clause beginning with when, no future tense. All right. I use just a present perfect tense. When I have finished my homework. This is correct. Okay. In general, adverbs, please don't think about this too much. This is totally another topic. But you will only have learned a few words. Will you only have learned a few words in general? The adverbs such as always, only, never, ever, still, just, are going to follow the first helper verb or the first auxiliary verb. Are, or in this case, will only, you are only going to have learned a few words. This is always correct. You can't go wrong with this. There are situations when you can move the adverb around. Adverbs are very tricky. You can put them in different places in the sentence. The tricky part is that sometimes it changes the meaning of the sentence, sometimes completely. Only you will have learned a few words is completely different than you will only have learned a few words. Those two sentences have completely different meanings. Not to say that this construction is wrong. It is totally correct. Only you will have learned a few words. Totally different meaning. Just you, nobody else. You will have only learned a few words. Okay, different meaning. All right. Don't think about that too much. I try not to myself. All right, last thing, active and passive. They, subject. Okay, when I make an active sentence, I care. I really care. I really care who did the action. They will have completed. What? The object noun. The project. Before the deadline. Great. I express it in an active sentence because I want to know who did the action. In a passive sentence, I don't care who did the action. I want to know the thing that the action happened to. The project. The action happened to the project. will have been completed before the deadline. By who? I don't really care. It doesn't matter. It's not important, or it's obvious, self-evident. In any case, or it just plain doesn't matter. So in a passive construction, I don't care who did the action. All I really care about is reporting that the action happened. Excuse me. Sorry. Of course, I can use either the will have construction or the verb to be, going to have, and the verb construction. They are going to have completed the project, or the project is going to have been completed before the deadline. This sentence makes perfect sense. If I'm reporting this action, I'm reporting to the committee, the project is going to have been completed before the deadline. It is quite obvious who's doing the project. It's self-evident. It's not important for me to actually say who does the action, because it's probably obvious. All right, let's try this. Forming a passive future perfect. Difficult? Challenging? Sure, maybe. Let's try it out. Keiko. Keiko, are you there?
Yes, teacher.
All right. Based on this example, try forming a passive with future perfect.
By the time this class finishes, many subjects will have been learned by myself.
Okay. The by myself is totally optional. Grammatically, it's okay. It's a you probably speaking you wouldn't even notice, quite honestly. But in writing, you probably wouldn't do that. I just want to note that in writing, you would never normally have multiple prepositional phrases using the same. Well, I can't say never. You try to avoid that in writing. It's just
okay, teacher.
Style. Grammatically correct. By the time the class is over, I will have learned a lot of subjects by myself.
By the time this class is over, many subjects will have been taught to the classmates.
Okay. Yes, you're getting it, Keiko. You're getting the passive future perfect perfectly both times. Yes. Taught. Yeah. Yeah. You're getting. You're okay, man. It's all good. You've got it perfect. Okay. And when I say you don't usually use prepositional phrases with the same preposition, well, it depends. Sometimes you have to. In the morning, in Spain, in most cafes, in the eggs, they put cheese. Okay. 4 prepositional phrases with N, in. So, you know. So I'm wrong. I'm saying when you have to, but you try to avoid it if you can. Nihan, can you try making a passive sentence with future perfect?
I think I already did it, because English will have been less complicated by the time teachers stop to teach grammar.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I get so involved in concentrating. I forget to look at the chat box sometimes, quite honestly. So, any of you guys, if I'm ignoring what you wrote in the chat box, don't be shy to say, teacher, can you look in the chat box? Seriously. Sometimes I need you to to call my attention to it.
Is
Sometimes
that the correct form that I wrote?
English will have been less complicated by the time teachers stop. Okay, now this is tricky, Han, because the complicate can be a verb, or complicated can be an adjective.
Ah, yes, complicated issue maybe.
That's right. So especially when you use the comparative less, more, less, most, least, it appears to me to be an adjective.
Okay.
Okay. Will have. So the construction looks like it doesn't have a verb. The construction looks like will have been,
Teacher.
which is active, actually. Yes?
Teacher. In this case, it would be stop teaching.
Yeah, stop teaching. Correct.
Stop. Oh, yeah, and there's the other problem. You would use the gerund clause, not the infinitive clause. And Keiko is absolutely 100% correct.
How can I fix that in that way? English will have been less complicated issue. Is that the correct form?
Well, okay. Oh my goodness. Well, complicated here is an adjective, so see, boy, will have been being, will have been. Oh my goodness, I don't even know.
Is this an active sentence? It's not passive.
I just don't. It is. That's right. I don't know how to make this a passive sentence. If or when teachers stop teaching grammar, okay, in a present tense, English will have been what? Will have been figured out. Will have been. It's very difficult to use a linking verb. See. You can't use a linking verb. You know, a linking verb. I like cheese. I smell cheese. I smell good. How do you do that? I will have smelled good after I take a shower. That's just crazy. It's very difficult to use a linking verb. Linking verbs express our senses, our preferences. I like, I hate, or I smell, I taste, I hear. How could you do that? I will have heard enough music by the time the concert's over. Okay, I guess that's possible. Well, because I'm using an object. I will have smelled horrible. How do you use it with an adjective? I will have smelled horrible after I roll around in the cow manure. You can't do it. You can't do it. That's very interesting, Nihan. You distract me into trying to figure out how to use a linking verb that is a subject, a verb, and no object.
Teacher.
It's impossible. It just sounds stupid. Yes, Keiko?
For me, it seems to be that simple future would work better because perfect future implies that the action English will be less complicated before teachers stop teaching grammar.
Yeah.
In the perfect future, English will have been less simplified before teacher stop teaching grammar. I think that
It just doesn't.
simple future would work better because
Yes, we're overthinking it. I don't think you can possibly. It doesn't make any sense to use a linking verb. Look at this example I just wrote. It will have smelled terrific when it's cooked. Well, that's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. You know? So actually, your Keiko, just to keep it simple, it will smell terrific when it's cooked. Simple future does make sense and is useful here.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Just to put it simply, that's absolutely it. And I am way over time, and now I am late for my next Verblin class. Gotta go. Thank you.
See